Hi everyone, welcome to another video in the channel. This time we're going to be testing an AMD CPU, the 5900X. So now that the Ryzen 7000 launch is just around the corner, we're going to be revisiting this last gen to see some concerns about Windows 11, since when this was first launched, AMD had some performance issues with Windows 11 compared with Windows 10. So we're going to try to confirm if this is still the case or if it's already safe to update to Windows 11. And also these tests are going to work as reference after we got the new Ryzen 7000, so we can compare them with the Ryzen 5000. So let's get to the benchmarks. The components that we are going to be using for this test include a Gigabyte RTX 3080 Vision. For motherboard, we have an ASRock X570 Taichi. For RAM, we have a Trident C kit from G.Skill of 32 GB DDR4 at 3200 MHz. Our storage is an NVMe from Samsung, the 970 Evo Plus of 500 GB. We have a Corsair power supply of 1000 watts, the RM10000X. And of course our AMD Ryzen 9 5900X that we are going to be cooling with a Master Liquid ML360L. Starting with the test on Crystal Disk, in the reading part, we can see a 25% improvement in Windows 11 in sequential reading when it's a single task, although when we go to 8 tasks, the performance remains the same. Now for random read test, with a single task in Windows 11 improves by 5% and with 32 tasks it improves by 20%. In the sequential reading test, the performance remains practically the same in both Windows versions, and in the random reading part, Windows 11 improves by 6% when it's a single task and 22% with 32 tasks. Going to the 7-zip test, we can see that Windows 11 has a small performance loss of 6% when it's compressing, but at the same time we have a small gain of just over 3% when it's decompressing. In the Cinebench test, we can see that the performance is practically the same in both Windows versions. The same happens in Blender, since we are having the same results for both Windows 10 and Windows 11. In V-Ray, we can see a small improvement, since if we observe the CUDA test in Windows 11, it improves almost 20%, and the performance in the CPU and RTX test remains the same. Starting with games, we have Civilization 6, and we have practically the same result for both Windows versions in both the graphic test as well as in the AI test. In Metro Exodus, we have interesting results because in the test at 4K with ultra quality, we have a small loss in Windows 11 of 5% in the average frames per second and 6% in the 1% low. But going to the test in 1080p, this time we have a gain for Windows 11 of 7% on the average frames per second and 6% on the 1% low. Now in Rainbow Six Siege we have some improvements for Windows 11, starting with the test at 4K, first with DLSS activated in the quality option. Windows 11 improves by 6% in both the average frames per second and the 1% low. Also in 4K, but this time with DLSS disabled, the improvement is now 5%. Going to 1080p, we have a bigger difference, and now Windows 11 improves the average frames per second by 13% and the 1% low by 12%. If we see the response times in Rainbow Six Siege test, we can see improvements in the GPU side for up to 5%, although in some tests the performance remains the same as in Windows 10. And for the CPU side, we see improvements from 11 to 14% in Windows 11. Now in Horizon Zero Dawn, if we see the test at 4K ultimate quality, the performance remains the same in both Windows versions. And in the test at 1080p, we can see small improvements in Windows 11 of around 4%. In Shadow of the Tomb Raider, in the test at 4K with ultra quality and ray tracing activated, the average frames per second is the same, although we can see a small improvement in the response time of the CPU in Windows 11. Now in 1080p ultra quality with ray tracing activated, we see a small improvement in the response time in the CPU in Windows 10, as well as an improvement of about 3% in the average frames per second. Again in 1080p, but now with medium quality and without ray tracing, we can see similar results with an improvement in Windows 11 of almost 3% in the average frames per second. Okay, so as you could see, there is no longer any performance lost in Windows 11, and in some cases there is even gain in performance against Windows 10, so I think we could say that it's finally safe to update to Windows 11 if you have an AMD CPU. And also we are gonna be testing this in the new Ryzen 7000s against these 5000 AMD CPUs. So subscribe to the channel if you don't wanna miss that, and we'll see you in the next one.